Hello my friend, are you ready for Champions League game day number 4? Then let's go with my prediction and the best bets at the end.
Radek Vegas. There's no better.
Before we start, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to this channel that you don't miss any of my picks. Thanks for your support, buddy. Yeah, and game day number 4 is pretty much the same as game day number 3. Now we have a lot of information about the Champions League and we're starting with Dortmund versus Newcastle. Dortmund lost very high against Bayern Munich 4-0 at the weekend. Newcastle won their game 1-0 against Arsenal, but the odds are balanced. Both have odds around 2.6, and after the really bad game of Dortmund, I think this is really interesting betting on Newcastle, but I know that Dortmund was winning at Newcastle 1-0, but anyway, Newcastle has to strike back. 1.8 is really good here, and I don't trust Dortmund here to win. Second game in this group between Milan and PSG, and I don't understand these odds also, as in the standings in the Champions League after 3 games, Milan has not even scored one single goal and they lost the game at Paris with 3-0, and they also lost their last game in the league at the weekend 1-0 at home against Udinese. Also, they only had one win in the last 6 games. Really bad situation for Milan at the moment, and that's why I think the odds on PSG are really high for the bad form of Milan. I also would say draw no bet 1.6 is still okay, as we always want to ensure a draw in games like that. Let's go to Group A, Atletico versus Celtic, really clear favorite, Atletico 1.3, but this is not worth to put money on, as we know the first game between them was a 2-2, and Atletico is one team which cost me a lot of money in this season, as they were not able to beat Celtic and they also lost at Las Palmas. So I don't trust them, and I also do not bet on low favorite odds like this, because it's too dangerous. At the end you end up only losing money in games like this, and so ignore it. Better bet in this game. Maybe you know that Feyenoord was the winner in the first game against Lazio with 3-1 at home. They also are second in the Dutch league, and I don't see why they should be not a little bit better than Lazio, as they have proven that they can win against Lazio. And also Lazio is really not good in form at the moment, because they also lost at Bologna at the weekend. They have really problems with scoring goals. Only one goal in the win against Fiorentina, only one goal at Feyenoord, and these were the last 3 games of them. So I think again we find value on the higher odd 2.7, and we can bet on draw no bet on Feyenoord with 1.9. I think this is worth a try. Leipzig lost in the Bundesliga with 0-2 against Mainz. Very bad, and also they lost in the cup 1-0 against Wolfsburg. So 2 losses in a row for Leipzig with 0 goals scored, and now they have to play at Belgrade, and they are favorite of 1.5. Still way too bad odds for a team which lost 2 games in a row. Also no consideration betting on Belgrade, as they are not, they have not the quality of players as Leipzig has, but in one single game everything is possible, so I don't want to put money on these mini odds. And same here, Man City, not considering any 1 point odds like this. It's just silly. And we have 2 more of them with Barcelona against Shakhtar and Porto against Antwerpen. You can just ignore everything like that. We have more interesting games on Wednesday, starting with Bayern Munich hosting Galatasaray Istanbul, and this was a very interesting week for Bayern Munich. They lost in the cup against the third league team called Saarbrücken. Write in the comments one if you know Saarbrücken, and I think if you're not from Germany, maybe you don't even know this city, which is close to France in the western border to France. And after this loss in the cup against Saarbrücken, Bayern showed a complete different face in the game against Dortmund. Best game in the season so far, but also Dortmund was very, very weak in this game. And now Bayern is hosting Galatasaray Istanbul, where they had really big problems in the first game. They only won with 3-1, but it was long a very close game. And that's why I think Bayern might struggle again. They don't need to win this game as they are way advanced. And they also can afford to lose this game. I don't think they might lose, but they should not be 100% into this game. And the odds are ridiculous low for Bayern in this game. And I have a special bet here, as I think 7 for a draw is way too high. And I would say it's worth to put a little bit of money on it, on a draw, so I can bet 1/6 of a unit and win 1 unit if there's a draw, and I only lose a little bit of money if there's no draw. And so I think I gamble a bit in this game, and I hope Galatasaray is also playing that good as they were playing in the first game against Bayern, and also when they won at Old Trafford against Manchester United 2-1. So why should they not be able to make a point in Munich? The other game in the group makes no sense. Man United for sure should be the better team, but they only were able to win 1-0 at home against Copenhagen. And Bayern has also really big problem when they have a game at Copenhagen. They only won with 2-1. So I won't say these 1.8 odds on Man U are really good, so I ignore it, because I always want to ensure a draw and get odds of 1.8 for a draw no bet, but here I only get odds of 1.8 on a Man U win, so I don't want to bet on this. In Group B we have Arsenal versus Sevilla. The game at Sevilla was a 2-1 winner for Arsenal, but Arsenal is not that good at the moment. They had 2 losses in a row. They lost 1-0 against Newcastle and they lost 3-1 at West Ham in the Cup. And on the other hand, Sevilla is really hard to beat. They had a lot of draws recently, and they only lost at Barcelona and Sevilla in the last 10 games. Not Sevilla, against Arsenal. So yeah, Sevilla is hard to beat. So I really don't like the low odds on Arsenal after losing 2 games in a row. This is way too risky. I would say the odds on a draw here also are very tempting. For odds of 5.5 I only have to risk 1/4 of a unit. If my unit is normally 100 euro, I only have to bet 25 euro here to win more than 100 euro, and I think this is a very good risk and reward ratio. The other game in this group between Eindhoven from Dutch and Lens from France is also very interesting. As we know, Lens has not lost one of their last 9 games. They are unbeaten for 9 games now, and they also were able to beat PSV in the first game in this season 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, it was a 1-1, but Lens was able to beat Arsenal London. I forgot that, and they are still unbeaten in this group after 3 games. As PSV has no win at all so far. So why should they now be the favorite with odds of 1.7? This is just not true and ridiculous low. The bookies might know more than me, but I only know how to bet on value odds, and I think 3.4 for draw no bet on Lens after they have a streak. And why should they now lose at Eindhoven? I really like 3.4 here for a team which is not the underdog in this game. The last German team we have on Wednesday is Union Berlin, and they have such a horrible streak with so many losses in a row, 12 losses, and they lost all 3 games in the Champions League. But the other side in this story is that they had 3 really good games in the Champions League. They lost only 1-0 against Napoli. They only lost 1-0 in the extra time at Real Madrid when Jude Bellingham scored a goal in the 95th minute or so. And they were leading against Braga a long time in the game, and at the end they got 2 very crazy goals, and so they are really better than it looks like, and that's why I think Napoli is not the huge favorite in this game, as I won't bet on Napoli. But to be true, after 12 losses in a row, we can't bet on Union Berlin as well. So if it's just a tipping game, I would hope for a draw here as well, that Union Berlin might at least take 1 point after so many losses. Would be awesome. But yeah, I cannot put money on it. Also, no consideration betting on low bets on Real. This is just insane, as they only had a 2-1 victory at Braga. Why should they now be such big favorite? Makes no sense. I don't like these odds, and also no value in betting on Sociedad versus Benfica, as Sociedad was able to win 1-0 at Benfica and now is favorite. But 1.9 is really not worth to put money on it, and same situation here. Inter is 2-way high favorite. I don't want to bet on them as well. So we have just a few bets, but they are really good. On Tuesday, I have 2 special bets on draw because the odds are really high and I have to risk only a small amount of money on a draw between Bayern and Galatasaray, odds of 7, and a draw between Arsenal and Sevilla, odds of 5.5. I win big and I lose a small amount. I think it's worth it. But to be honest, a really good bet is draw no bet on Lens at Eindhoven with odds of 3.4, and on Wednesday, I like 3 times draw no bet on Feyenoord at Lazio Rome, Newcastle at Dortmund, and PSG at Milan. I have 2 eckers. My draw no bet ecker is on draw no bet Paris, Feyenoord and Lens. We get odds around 10 for these 3 bets, and the second one is very risky on Lens and Feyenoord, Asian Handicap -1. That means you get the money back if there's a draw, and yeah, you win high if there is both teams with 2 goals in advantage, and if they win with 1 goal in advantage, you get your money back. And if you want to get all my picks, not only in the Champions League, Bundesliga or Europe League, in every league in the weekend with around 20 to 40 picks on each weekend or each week, then you can follow my Faxe Bookie bonus challenge, and everything is down in the video description. You have to sign up at the bookie called Betano if it's able in your country. Then just grab the bonus and you send me a screenshot to my email address, which is also in the video description, and then we clear this bonus together. You get all my picks, and yeah, you can make more profit than anywhere else. So let's try this. Thanks for watching.
Radek Vegas. There's no better.
Before we start, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to this channel that you don't miss any of my picks. Thanks for your support, buddy.